Alright, this is going to be the second episode for the series where I try to watch all of the IMDb top 100 movie list. If you didn't see last episode, I watched and reviewed Pernum, like a 8.5 out of 10. Really sad movie, honestly probably the saddest movie on the wheel. I was hoping to get something a little more upbeat, like The Godfather or something, I guess, or The Matrix. Didn't pan out that way. If you want to see more of this, please remember to like and subscribe, or even just leave a comment about what you think. Enough yapping, let's spin the wheel. Oh man, I did want to see this movie. I want to see Lawrence of Arabia. I do want to see Lawrence of Arabia. I just felt like it's a really long movie. Can I work? Oh, it's 3 hours. This is a long movie. All right, well, I'm gonna go watch this. I'll be back in a bit. Bye. Wow, I did not. I can't believe. Okay, first of all, the 3 hour and like 47-minute runtime, I feel like it's a little long. I split up the watches in 2 days because I don't have enough time to just sit down and watch the movie throughout the whole thing. But the movie's great. The movie's really good. It's incredible that this movie's even made, especially during the time period. I at times had difficulty believing this was even filmed and made and like put out in 1962. 1962. That is literally older than my father. I can't believe how this movie was made. This movie looks so good. The movie looks incredible. There's so many times where I think this movie's made it more recently, but it looks so good. Some of the shots in this movie are incredible, especially like all the faraway shots where they show the distance of everything. That's what does a good job of putting everything to scale. Because the way the movie uses their props, because there's obviously not a lot of CGI you could do at this time, or any computer generated anything. So the way that they use the camera and props and people, especially people, to show the scale of everything is incredible. I think this is probably the first movie in history to do it like this. I think this movie is a monument to movie making. Like, there were so many scenes where I was just watching Lawrence and Ali, like easily like more than 100 people just on the screen at the same time on their camels just riding around, and the battle parts were incredible. I have no idea how they shot those, especially with these cameras. I saw a lot of reviews and comments that say that this probably was some of the best cinematography ever. I mean, it's kind of hard to compare with like cameras now. This is like the first, right? It's like the first time they do something this large, I'm assuming. I done no research to back that up whatsoever. I have no idea, but it's like, I feel like it's the oldest movie I have seen do it like this, and for it to be like all there, all practical, and the performances by the actors were incredible. I felt really drawn into the whole, everything that was being said. I felt drawn in, like everyone's performances, all the extras, all the little things, they're all focused in on the camera. There's no one that's like not caring or not focused. Everyone's focused. Everything is so planned carefully. The choreography, the staging, everything is just so well done. And so like the performances by Peter O'Toole and Alec Guinness, Omar Sharif, Anthony Quinn, they're so good. They're literally so good. Especially Peter O'Toole's performance as T. Lawrence is incredible, because he goes in the story at the beginning being like a silly, goofy character. Like, well, not goofy, but he obviously has something to him. Very interesting, little quirky guy. And then we push further down the movie, down his story, and down his growth as a character, and he's just like a completely different person at the end of it. And what more can you ask from the actor at the end of it? And the way you can see him turn slowly, as I said in the movie, that maybe sending him to Arabia would turn him into a man, but it turns him into a different man. Oh, and yeah, the battle scenes were incredible. How do you hit so many people so on time with all those, I'm assuming they're real animals? I don't know how else they would do it. The way that it's shot and that they're all going at once, like how many takes does that take? Is that a one take thing? You just took it one time and like, that's good enough? Because it looks great. I feel like really immersed into it, and it's obviously for the time, because I've obviously seen better like battle scenes and better things now, of course, now with everything we have, but back then I can imagine the struggles of putting it all together and actually doing it and getting it recording. So miracle. It's honestly breathtaking to see it. It was also one of the first movies I've ever seen with an intermission, and I've seen a lot of old movies, but I never had one with an intermission. I guess that's what happened if they'd be too long. That was pretty cool. I actually just sat down and was just kind of hanging out while I was just waiting for the intermission. Oh, the beginning shot of Lawrence like getting on his bike, and it has like the credits at the beginning, was so good. I remember I turned it on, I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, Like, oh yeah, this movie has sauce. The movie has it. I'm not gonna lie. And the whole beginning, obviously, if you ever seen it, the beginning of him going on the motorcycle into a car crash and dying, I was kind of shocked by that because I thought it was taking place before he went to war. But then Ed going to his funeral and having so many like people of the British military saying, "Oh, what a great man he is. Oh, this guy was great." And then they're like talking to him, like, "Have you met him?" Like, no, but he was a great man. And then there's a general, and he says that like he was. Forgot the word he used exactly, but basically he tries to call him a showman, not that great of a guy, and someone's like, "Hey, you can't say that, blah 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 blah," and then he's like, "Well, I knew the man, I served with him," and it's kind of cool to see that we're kind of left with this mysterious image of Lawrence, because obviously we've heard of Lawrence of Arabia, we've heard of the books, and maybe little snippets of the tale. I mean, none of us knew him, so what else can we call him but a great man? So this movie kind of divulges into why these people don't call him great man. That's kind of when the story continues. At the beginning, Lawrence kind of comes off as a very interesting guy. He's not like everyone else in the military, right? He has a different way of speaking. He doesn't show, like, you know, the salute walking in. It doesn't seem like he's very disciplined in the sense of military discipline. But then he gets sent to Arabia, and he seems so intrigued by the desert, and he seems to, like, have a love for the desert for some reason. I'm not gonna lie. At the end of this, I'm really not really too sure who Lawrence is. I don't know if that's the point. If that's the point, well done. If that's not the point, movie's still amazing. And when I say that I don't know who Lawrence is by the end of the movie, I mean purely on his character himself, because he's kind of left questionable many times, and so I don't think I have a good read on Lawrence. That's what I meant, not like what he did and what did he do. Just making that clear. Lawrence is kind of left. There's still a mystery character at the end to me, because I'm not really sure what he thinks of anything. Sometimes I just know one thing: he does want to unify Arabia, whether that's for any other causes but himself, maybe just how like old movies are written, I don't know, but I know he wants to unify it. So that's kind of what he does. Kind of separates from the British and what the British want to do, and he kind of leans towards more what the Arabian tribes want, especially like Prince Faisal, and how he could achieve his goals of making Arabia unified. And he goes through these tireless treks through this desert, the screeching hot sun, and meeting all these different characters like Sharif Ali, who he actually meets by he kills his guide through the desert, and when he's like, "Oh, let's go to the prince," "No, I'm not going with you," and then he just goes by himself, who's never been in these deserts before, and he still makes it to the prince. Kind of like a proving point to him and all the other tribes, like, oh, this guy he kind of got it. He believes himself to be a very special person, where he believes he could rewrite what is already written, which is a term they use a lot, that you can decide what you want to do, that if you want to move them out, you can move them out. If you want to cross or split that sea, you could do it. And that's what he shows countless times throughout the movie, that he could be that person, and that the people around him become those people, and he could lead those people. And that's why he becomes such a big in the revolution for everyone, the revolution to revolt against the Turks, and he becomes such a big figure in that sense, where everyone just begins to follow him. What Lawrence does, what Arends does. Let's call him Arends, because Lawrence is a very hard word to say. To be fair, he kind of renamed himself and lets the people call him that. It just kind of sticks with him his whole journey in Arabia. And it's also very interesting to see how affects him all this like belief of him being able to do anything kind of turns into him thinking he could do anything, and how that far that thought process takes him until he can't. Until he stopped, right? Until he can't do it all, until he can't do it. He done like miraculous things that no one could even imagine doing until he's done it. And he gets to a point where he can't. And then he has to go back and he has to face the facts, and he thinks he's no longer the special man. He's just an ordinary man. And then I'm not gonna lie, this is where the movie kind of trips up for me. I kind of miss it. I don't really understand it. Okay, spoiler warning, right? Complete spoiler warning here. So he goes back to Cairo, which is where he comes from. He stops wearing the clothes that he was given to him, and he's like, "Oh, no, I just want to earn a job." And then he's like, kind of like, in the way I saw, he's kind of dead set on like not doing this, not going back to Arabia, because he's losing his mind out there and like into the person he's becoming. And I swear, like they just cut, and he's like, I gotta go back. You're right. Let's go back. No problem. Then he just goes back and he slaughters a lot of people. He kills a lot of Turkish people. And a spoiler warning. But yeah, there's a lot of like things in the movie that I could like, I for sure could pick apart and be like, oh, this is bad. This is bad. But honestly, I don't want to do that because the movie is so good. I can't imagine watching this in the theater back then. That must have been crazy. I know they re-released it several times, but like audience reactions for a lot of these scenes would be pretty good to see live. But Lawrence is quite the character. You kind of grow to just, go with him. Yes, us as the viewers kind of goes like, yeah, he got it. Just let him do it. Like he's got it. He's the one. So it's kind of interesting how the film does that. Low key, and it's given low key Dune 2 vibe. Dude's the Ghassan Al-Ghahib. He's like low key that. He's like literally like Paul Atreides. He's just not his face. I don't know if they're the the two novels of Dune and was inspired by the story of Lawrence. But it's in my opinion, I thought it was low-key giving Dune. I think that's okay to say. It just kind of was, like the Chosen One. He was supposed to do it, and then he like turned it to something that's beyond anyone's control. This long and treacherous journey of trying to create this unified Arabia, he gets sent home because it becomes he is too big of a symbol, and he gets sent home by the government, the British government, and also the Prince Faisal sent him home, and that's the last scene. Very nice little wrap up to the end. Him watching the Arabians come also in towards where he's leaving from, and young British soldiers. Kind of like a whole wraparound. One leaves and one comes in. Yeah, no, this movie was really good. I liked it. If I were to give it a rating, give it a 5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. It's a pillar. It's an obelisk of filmmaking, of movies. Not a lot more I can say than that. For the rating, I'd probably give it a 9.5 out of 10. Solely because it is too long. I can't. I personally can't. I don't mind a long movie. I've been adapted to like the 2 hour and 50 type movie, but like 3 hours and 47 minutes, I just feel like it's just a little too long. Besides that, everything's great about the movie. I'll be back next week for sure, unless I'm still playing Death Stranding. Bye.